Hey Jake, Coach Kilcrease here. First off, just want to thank you for coming out to camp. Had a real good time working with you. This is going to be a video analysis. So the first thing I want to do is I want to make sure we've got a good foundation and good base set up before we get started. Okay, so we got a good shoulder width apart stance here. Got a good bend in our knees. We're squared up to the plate nicely. Our hands are in a good position here. Our head's in a good position. Okay, so everything from this position looks good. What I want to get into next, okay, is I want to get into our load. And there's a few things in our load that's very important. Okay, one, okay, being that we want to make sure our head stays still throughout the entire swing. Okay, and that all starts with our load. Alright, the next thing is I want to make sure when we load, okay, that when we pick this front foot up right here, that we're just picking it up and putting it down. Alright, the main goal of our load is to get all of our weight back here on our back leg. We don't move our hands, okay, so we go ahead and preset our hands where we want them, and we're just loading in our legs, and then we're going to fire our hands towards the ball once we get to that point. Okay, but the most important thing here, okay, is making sure that our weight goes back here. Okay, when we pick this foot up, we don't want all of our weight going forward, because now we've defeated the purpose of our load entirely. Okay, so what I'm going to do now is I'm going to play you to your load and get you where your foot's down on the ground, and we're going to see where your hands are at and see where your weight's at. Okay, so what I see here, our heads move forward. Okay, we got our hands, the bat's wrapped around our head. So what we didn't do, okay, we didn't preset our hands, and what we did when we took that stride step here is all of our weight came with it. Okay, so now we've lost all of our power back here on our back leg, and now we're going to hit off of our front foot. Okay, so what we need to do is have this leg be straight and have this back leg bowed out a little bit back here. That's going to let me know that our power is back in our back leg. Also, we don't want to take our head to the ball. Okay, we want to keep our head stationary in the same position throughout this whole swing. Okay, so right now everything's moved forward. Now that our head's moved, that means our eyes have moved too. Okay, so now our timing's going to be off a little bit. Now the next thing I want to get into, okay, I want to get into where we attack the ball and how we attack the ball. Okay, so after we establish a proper load, we have to make sure the next thing that happens is that our back hip starts our swing. Okay, and what that means is this is just firing towards the ball. So if the ball's outside, it's firing this way. Okay, if it's inside, it's firing this way. If it's down the middle, it's firing here. Okay, we want to make sure that hip's going to where the ball's going to be at. Once we do that, then our hands start the swing. Okay, so the hip starts the swing, and then the hands follow the hip. So we're going to say you're going to make contact somewhere out here. Okay, so we'll say point of contact is going to be right there. What I want to see is your path you take to the ball. Okay, in Alabama we preach be short to it, long through it. That means take the shortest path to the ball you can, and then stay in the zone as long as possible. Okay, so what I want to see is if that barrel dips down and comes up at the ball, or if you stay short to it. Okay, you do a good job of bringing the hands down the line, but see how far out here your hands are? Okay, and your barrel's way back here. So you're making contact out here, and look what's happening. Okay, as we're going to make contact, this back foot comes off the ground. So now we're 100% hitting off of our front foot. There's no back foot on the ground at all. Okay, so we have to make sure we're staying in our legs. That's the whole purpose. Once we get our load is we want to stay in our legs. But when you do an improper load, okay, you can't stay in your legs. It's going to be all on your front foot. Okay, so contact's right here. And at contact, you get the leg back down. Okay, but look how far our head's moved. Okay, our head's moved this far. So we want to still have our head here, and that would make our legs back here. Okay, this would be bent back here like this, and then this front leg would be straight. Okay, whereas now our front leg's over here, and our positioning is here. Okay, let's make that a little more clear. want the L position you have here, okay? But we don't want our upper body to be leaning forward. Okay, we want to be straight up with our back, and make sure that head stays here. We do want a stiff front side, okay? So you have a good stiff front side going on here, but it's our top of our body, okay? Our body's hunched over forward. Now we're all off balance. We got to keep our balance throughout the swing, okay? Once we get to contact, now we have to be long through it, okay? But since we're so far hunched over forward as we're making contact, we're not going to be able to be long through it. We're going to have a very short time where that bat is actually in the zone, okay? So we're going to make contact, and then we can't really push through the zone. All we can do is roll over, and that's what we do here. Okay, so we just have to work on our balance, okay? Jake, it's Coach Kilcrease again. Thanks a lot for coming to camp, and I look forward to seeing you again soon. Thanks, bud.